Okay, we have many creative artists on this stage, not me, but I just thought these are the three undergraduates who have made the film Montage we'll see in a minute. And then there will be a short little period of time to change the scene, and then we will have the graduate students' original performance. And so I just wanted to mention that the undergraduates are raising money for the conviviality fun of graduation and for the ceremony and celebration with these yellow, I prefer to call them bracelets, let's affirm the feminine, or wristbands. It says, "Take a stand." So if you would like to buy one for $1 or buy more, they're in the back in a basket. Okay, so I'd like to introduce these undergraduate students, Mari Rosas, Megan Justus, and Tatianna Peck.
This is only the beginning of what we plan to have it be as an ongoing project. Where we will be documenting more experiences from previous GWS graduates, as well as recording and keeping a recorded history of the GWS Department of Film. And also in the future, we hope to make this closed captioned as well. I was GWS major until December of this past year. So today we're in the Castro Street Fair. That's why I'm dressed like this. And I was volunteering, you can see that, for Instituto Familiar de la Raza, which is the place that I work in. And I'm volunteering with the Cia La Vida, which is the HIV prevention program at Instituto, and basically, I mean, they're doing a lot of fundraising because there's been a lot of cuts in funding for HIV programs in the city. So I graduated, and like most GWS majors, I went like, I don't know what to do. What am I gonna do with a GWS degree? I mean, there's plenty of beautiful things to do, but you also have to feed yourself, right? I work with low-income Latino youth in arts and writing programs. I do other administrative things there as well. And that's my main job. That's what feeds me, and that's my passion. I work with the community, which is always great. And I am also applying for grad school.
My name is Marco Flores, and I am a third-year transfer student from Riverside. And I'm currently in the Gender and Women's Studies department and minoring in LGBT studies. I've been involved with the Gender Equity Resource Center, the Chicano Latino Student Development Center. I've been part of different coalitions and different groups on campus. I'm currently part of the House Scholars Research Program, looking at how it is that queer undocumented immigrant youth are able to kind of like reimagine this idea of home and homeland, given that they can't go back due to their status. I feel like I've been able to really apply a lot of what I've learned in class into a lot of my own work and my own personal experiences, being queer and immigrant as well. Great to have a connection with faculty and the department and the students.
My name is Melissa, and I graduated from UC Berkeley in the Gender and Women's Studies department this year in July 2011. I interned from the Gender Equity Resource Center for 2 years. I was part of a group of students who helped form a space, mostly a dialogue space for queer people of color. So I really want to try to continue some of the work that I did in college, try to build off of it. In Gen Ed, I really had the opportunity to do a lot of peer education. I worked with the Bridges Multicultural Resource Center, reaching out to local Bay Area high schools, reaching out to mostly students of color, low-income students, talking to them about going to college and basically just trying to get them to pursue higher education. So I would like to continue doing that, sort of head in the direction of maybe doing stuff on sex education for young people, and also reproductive justice.
It's my pleasure now to introduce an original performance created specifically for this anniversary celebration by Karin, Shankar, and Heather Rastovac, who are graduate students in performance studies and also participants in the designated emphasis in women, gender, and sexuality. Karin and Heather have engaged with the written scholarship of current gender and women's studies faculty and some of the founders who are here today, the department's founders, as sources of insight for the conceptual framing of this collaborative work and process. They began with gender and women's studies writings as a point of departure and then created ways for these writings to be embodied and voiced. They want to personally thank all of you for your scholarship and the various ways in which it has informed their process and performance. Note that the performance includes an American Sign Language translator. Since the performance is composed of 5 moments, please hold your applause until the end.
pasión es la no ilusión.
Story. For all I have is a story. Story passed on from generation to generation. Named Joy.
Named Joy.
Told for the joy it gives the storyteller and the listener. Joy inherent in the process of storytelling. Whoever understands it also understands that a story, as distressing as it can be in its joy, never takes away anything from anybody. Its name, remember, is joy.
The story depends on every one of us to come into being. It needs us all, needs our remembering, understanding, and creating what we have heard together to keep on coming into being. The story of a people, of us peoples.
सबसे कहानी पुरानी वो बुढ़िया जिसे बच्चे कहते थे नानी, वो नानी की बातों में परियों का डेरा चेहरे की झुर्रियों में सदियों का पेरा भुलाए नहीं भूल सकता है कोई वो छोटी सी बातें वो लंबी कहानी. In this chain and in this continuum, I am but one link.
I am but one link.
The story is me, neither me nor mine. It does not really belong to me. And while I feel greatly responsible for it, I also enjoy the irresponsibility of the pleasure obtained through the process of transferring. Pleasure in the copy,
Pleasure in the reproduction.
no repetition can ever be identical. But my story carries with it their stories, their history, and our story repeats itself endlessly, despite our persistence in denying it. I don't believe it.
That story could not happen today. I don't believe it. That story could not happen today.
Then someday, our children will speak about us here present, about those days when things like that could happen.
challenging the boundaries and the hierarchies of disciplines, and keeping our eyes focused on the problems we want to understand are key strategies for sustaining a critical edge.
We need to value care as our most precious resource and to notice where it comes from and ends up. For these days, the personal is global.
Ultimately, the transformation of caring must be linked to major changes in political and economic structures and relationships. Perhaps most fundamentally, the liberal concept of society as made up of discrete, independent, and freely choosing individuals will have to be discarded in favor of notions of interdependence among not wholly autonomous members of a society.
A complementary kind of knowledge production, a sensorium, one that in this context invites both the sympathetic ingestion or intoxication of what remains a marked experience, as well as potentially invites the empathetic memory of past association.
Memory erupts in words, and words, articulated in languages that are never fully our own, have a character that is corporeal.
It is only possible to release what has been perceived as personal when one finally understands that it is also political. But why, after all these years of feminist thought, does the private still seem private?
What a wonderful experience. So creative. Thank you so much. It's a reminder that many media are involved. Wow. What an absolutely wonderful day. Every bit of it has just been superb. I want to conclude with some thanks. First to the Li Ka-shing Foundation for a generous donation that made the conference possible. A special thanks to the keynote speakers, all of the panelists, the moderators, and the creative people who did the film montage and the performance piece. A double special thanks to those who envisioned, organized, staged, managed, and pulled off today. Faculty members Trin Minh-ha and Mel Chen, who initiated and carried through the vision and content of the day's events. Karis Thompson, the regular chair, who worked hard on this before she left on sabbatical and is very sorry not to be here. Paola Baqueta, who moderated the keynote session. And I wanted to acknowledge Evelyn Nakano-Glenn, who was finally able to join us this afternoon. Very nice to have here. Special thanks to the Dean of Social Science, Carla Hesse. I guess Carla's not here. She'll have to watch the video. For her continuing support and encouragement, and Anne-Marie Saunders and Rochelle Latimer from the college's development office, who helped us locate and extend invitations to gender and women's studies alumni and supporters in the Bay Area. Althea Granham Cummings is as Wendy Brown wrote in we all collaborated in writing our appreciation for Althea to nominate her for a All-University Staff Award, which she received. And I'll never forget that Wendy said, she is the hearth of the department. You go in and you always find warmth and kindness. Her eye for detail, and she is our fashion consultant. Her flair for color, decorating. On the cheap, we have the best looking lounge in the university, and I don't even want to tell you how little it costs with her ability to find great art in IKEA. That's one secret. Then our other terrific staff, Eileen Andrade, who is the other heartbeat of the department and keeps it going. And these have been very hard times for staff at Berkeley, and I think we should all clap the staff who've received some of the worst blows from so-called operational excellence. Let's thank them all for all they give to us. Jillian Edgelow, who is just always there watching and keeping things ticking. Linda Baker on the script. Althea had written Linda Point Person. So we've started to call her Linda Point Person. She doesn't mind. Our terrific work study students Tyler Hill, Gloria Liu, and Stephanie Riali. And the volunteers for this event, Tatianna Peck and Clarissa Arafilas. So thank you. I want to call attention to the brochure in your program that specifies different ways in which you can make donations to support the department and especially the research and learning experiences of undergraduate and graduate students. Today we have taken up the theme of witnessing through individual testimony and collective remembering and learning about almost 4 decades of focused struggle and joy to bring women from diverse backgrounds and a range of global contexts more fully into political presence, educational participation, and into varied forms of knowledge, including movement and dance and every form of expression. The UC Berkeley Gender and Women's Studies program has changed and grown in tandem with political developments, generational turnover. That is so thrilling to me to see the next generation. I can't tell you. I can die now and go to that graveyard of moving institutions knowing everyone's in place, but I'm not going to die. I'm here with you. Have to join the grannies in Code Pink first. And also institutional change, to finish that sentence. We hope that today's anniversary will continue to strengthen our sense of community, our dialogue and ties with one another, and deepen our reflection as these processes continue. Thank you so much. Oh, Evie has something to say. Evie Glenn wants to say something.
I think the one person that Barrie did not call on is herself. And she has been our fearless leader, I don't know, 5 years, and then coming back again. And, you know, every time she's been chair, she's built the department and done wonderful things. So I think we should most of all give a cheer to Barrie.